That glass of water you just finished. There's a decent chance it started its journey in someone's toilet. And no, that's not some gross exaggeration. It's municipal water policy across America. Right now, Orange County's groundwater replenishment system is processing 100 million gallons of sewage every single day, turning it into drinking water for 2.5 million residents. Singapore has been doing this since 2003 with their Any Water program. El Paso, Texas, they've been serving recycled sewage to residents since 2018. Wichita Falls did it during their drought emergency, and guess what? Nobody died. But here's the kicker. The EPA doesn't require cities to tell you about this. There's no law saying your water utility has to put a little disclaimer on your bill reading, "Hey, this used to be poop water." Most Americans have zero clue they're drinking recycled sewage because most cities would rather not advertise that fact. You want to know how common this actually is? Water engineers estimate that if you live downstream from any major city, your natural water source already contains treated sewage. The Mississippi River? It's basically a daisy chain of cities dumping treated wastewater that becomes the next city's drinking water source. New Orleans gets water that's been through kidneys in Minneapolis, St. Louis, and Memphis. The technology to transform sewage into drinking water is so advanced that many recycled water facilities produce cleaner water than what comes out of most bottled water plants. Some of these systems remove contaminants that traditional water treatment can't even touch. Pharmaceuticals, microplastics, industrial chemicals. But before you swear off tap water forever, water industry insiders say there's something the public doesn't understand about what recycled toilet water actually means. Here's the uncomfortable truth nobody talks about. All water is recycled water. Every drop you've ever consumed has been through countless biological systems over millions of years. That pristine mountain spring water? It's been dinosaur urine, ocean spray, and yes, part of the water cycle that includes every bodily function imaginable. Water doesn't get created or destroyed. It just moves around. The H2O molecules in your morning coffee have been circulating through plants, animals, clouds, and groundwater for literally eons. You're not drinking new water. You're drinking the same water that's been on this planet since the beginning of time. Traditional water treatment already handles this reality every single day. Municipal plants routinely process water contaminated with human waste, animal runoff, and industrial discharge. The Mississippi River carries treated sewage from dozens of upstream cities Minneapolis flushes, and downstream that becomes drinking water for Memphis. St. Louis processes what Cincinnati released. It's an endless chain of indirect sewage recycling. London's Thames River tells this story perfectly. Water there has passed through an average of 7 people before it reaches your tap. 7. That means every glass of London tap water has been someone's bathroom break multiple times over. Want something really wild? NASA's International Space Station operates a water recovery system that turns astronaut urine into drinking water with 93% efficiency. These astronauts aren't just drinking recycled water, they're drinking yesterday's bathroom breaks. And the system works so well that the recovered water is cleaner than most municipal supplies on Earth. The difference between natural river water and direct toilet-to-tap recycling isn't the contamination level, it's just how long the water sits between being sewage and being drinking water. River systems give you months or years of natural dilution and filtration. Direct recycling gives you hours of intensive technological treatment. Water engineers argue the real scandal isn't what goes into the treatment process, it's how incredibly advanced the cleaning technology has become. So what exactly happens inside these recycling facilities that makes sewage cleaner than your bottled water? The process is absolutely mind-blowing. First, the sewage gets conventional treatment, the same biological and chemical processing every wastewater plant does. But that's just the appetizer. The real magic happens in what engineers call advanced purification, and it's like putting water through a molecular car wash. Stage 1. Microfiltration. The water passes through membranes with holes so tiny they catch bacteria and suspended particles down to 0.1 microns. For perspective, that's 700 times smaller than the width of a human hair. Stage 2. Reverse osmosis. Now we're talking about barriers so fine they stop individual molecules. Salt, pharmaceuticals, hormones, industrial chemicals, everything gets stripped out at the molecular level. Orange County's system removes 99.999% of viruses and bacteria at this stage. We're talking 5 nines of purity. Stage 3 gets absolutely wild. Ultraviolet disinfection combined with hydrogen peroxide and what's called advanced oxidation. This process literally breaks apart any remaining organic compounds into harmless carbon dioxide and water. It destroys pharmaceutical residues that no other treatment can touch. Stanford University researchers tested recycled water against groundwater and surface water sources across California. The recycled water consistently came out cleaner. Not just a little cleaner, dramatically cleaner. We're talking about water that meets standards stricter than bottled water regulations. Singapore takes this to another level entirely. Their water undergoes over 150,000 scientific tests every single year. That's more quality monitoring than most countries do for their entire national water supply. And the results? This recycled sewage water exceeds World Health Organization standards by massive margins. The technology removes contaminants that traditional water treatment plants can't even detect, let alone eliminate. Microplastics, trace pharmaceuticals, endocrine disruptors, all gone. Yet despite producing water cleaner than what most Americans drink from wells or rivers, utilities face absolutely massive public backlash whenever they propose direct recycling programs. Here's where it gets infuriating. The science says recycled water is safer than most tap water, but public opinion kills these projects before they can save a single drop. Focus groups consistently reject recycled sewage water based on pure emotion, not evidence. Researchers show participants identical glasses of water. One labeled recycled, one labeled spring water. Same water, different reactions. People literally gag at the recycled sample while praising the spring water for its clean taste. Politicians know this, so they run screaming from direct recycling projects. San Diego just spent $2.8 billion on a massive desalination plant instead of recycled water systems that would have cost half as much and produced more water. Why? Because toilet to tap became a political death sentence after opponents organized against it. Tampa Bay had a recycled water program ready to go, until citizen protests shut it down before construction even started. The engineering was solid, the financing was approved, but the yuck factor won. Water utilities have gotten sneaky about this. They don't say sewage recycling anymore. Orange County calls it groundwater replenishment. San Diego tried reservoir augmentation. It's the same process with prettier marketing, because apparently Americans can handle drinking recycled sewage as long as nobody uses those words. The polling data is absolutely wild. 70% of people oppose recycled water programs when asked directly. But when researchers let people taste recycled water in blind tests, opposition drops to 40%. The water tastes fine. Better than fine, actually. But the mental image ruins everything. Australia figured this out during their drought emergencies. Brisbane, Perth, Adelaide, they all implemented large-scale recycling when water ran out. Guess what happened when people faced a choice between recycled water and no water? Suddenly the yuck factor disappeared and these programs became permanent fixtures with broad public support. The psychological resistance has created this bizarre two-tier system where some cities quietly recycle millions of gallons daily while others ship water from hundreds of miles away rather than treat what's literally flowing beneath their treatment plants. Here's what water industry insiders won't tell you. You're probably already drinking recycled toilet water, and your city just hasn't bothered mentioning it. 15 major American cities currently operate direct potable reuse systems. That's toilet-to-tap recycling happening right now, today, in places you'd never suspect. Big Spring, Texas has been running on 100% recycled wastewater since 2013. Every drop. Cloudcroft, New Mexico operates a recycling system so quietly that most residents have no idea their tap water used to be sewage. El Paso's advanced purification facility processes 10 million gallons of recycled wastewater daily, and it's been flowing through neighborhood taps since 2018. Orange County's system handles 100 million gallons of former sewage every single day for 2.5 million people. But here's the really sneaky part. Most of these programs launched during drought emergencies when cities had no choice, and then they just never stopped. Utilities discovered that recycled water was cheaper, more reliable, and cleaner than traditional sources. So they quietly kept the programs running without any public announcements. Water managers avoid publicity like the plague because they know exactly what happens when communities find out. The engineering works perfectly. The water exceeds all safety standards, but public relations becomes a nightmare. Meanwhile, indirect recycling through aquifer injection is absolutely everywhere. Multiple California cities pump millions of gallons of treated wastewater into underground aquifers, let it sit for a few months, then pump it back up as groundwater. Same process, longer timeline, Zero public controversy. Reporters investigating water systems across the Southwest found that nearly every major city either directly recycles sewage or relies on groundwater that's been artificially recharged with treated wastewater. The infrastructure is already there, the technology works flawlessly, and the water quality exceeds most natural sources. The evidence suggests that recycled toilet water isn't some future threat to worry about. It's a current reality that's actually making America's water supply safer and more sustainable. So here's what the bottled water industry really doesn't want you thinking about. While you're gagging at the thought of recycled toilet water, your natural water sources are falling apart. Traditional water supplies are increasingly contaminated and unreliable. The Colorado River is at historic lows. California's reservoirs hit critical levels so often that drought emergency has become the default state. Texas cities regularly run within weeks of running completely dry. Your pristine groundwater? It's loaded with agricultural runoff, industrial chemicals, and yes, leaking septic systems. Climate change makes recycled water essential, not optional. Cape Town came within days of complete water system collapse in 2018. Day zero, they called it, until emergency recycling programs helped avert total catastrophe. California's Central Valley, America's produce basket, now relies on recycled wastewater during severe droughts because there literally isn't enough river water to keep crops alive. Australia figured this out years ago. Perth gets 40% of its drinking water from recycling systems, and residents love it because it's drought-proof. While other cities ration water and watch reservoirs shrink, Perth's supply stays constant regardless of rainfall. The economics are brutal. Importing water from distant sources costs 60% more than local recycling systems. Cities spend billions building pipelines hundreds of miles long to avoid recycling the millions of gallons of wastewater flowing right beneath their treatment plants. It's absolutely insane. Aging infrastructure makes recycling even more attractive. Those 100-year-old water mains leaking under every major city? Building new recycling facilities costs half as much as replacing thousands of miles of deteriorating pipes. The environmental impact tells the same story. Pumping water across states devastates river ecosystems and requires massive energy consumption. Recycling systems use 80% less energy than long-distance water transport. The question isn't whether you're drinking recycled toilet water, it's whether you're drinking the cleanest possible version of it. Here's what you actually need to know. Stop worrying about where your water came from and start caring about what's actually in it. Your local water utility publishes an annual water quality report. It's required by federal law. These reports list every contaminant tested, the levels found, and how those numbers compare to safety standards. Whether your water started as mountain snowmelt or yesterday's sewage doesn't matter. What matters is what those lab results say about bacteria, chemicals, and heavy metals. Demand transparency about treatment methods, not water origins. Ask your utility what filtration systems they use, how often they test, and what contaminants they remove. Advanced recycling facilities often publish real-time water quality data online. They're proud of their technology and happy to show off the numbers. Here's the counterintuitive reality. Recycled water programs frequently improve overall water quality. California's recycled water regulations are actually stricter than federal drinking water standards. Independent testing across multiple recycling programs consistently shows cleaner water than conventional treatment produces. Support evidence-based water policy, not fear-based decisions. When your city council debates water infrastructure, show up with questions about filtration technology, contamination testing, and cost efficiency. Don't let emotional reactions drive policy decisions that affect everyone's water security. The EPA's Safe Drinking Water Act requires regular testing regardless of source. Municipal systems get monitored constantly more testing than most bottled water brands undergo. Your tap water probably gets tested weekly, while that premium bottled water might get tested once per year. The next time someone tells you that recycled toilet water is disgusting, remind them that the science says otherwise and they've probably been drinking it already. Every glass of water in human history has been recycled through countless biological systems. The only question is whether we're smart enough to use the best available technology to make it as clean as possible.